Next at 6, digging out.
I would stay home. It's not worth it.
Current road conditions tonight following massive amounts of snow. When road crews could make it into your neighborhood.
We're going to keep after it until we get it taken care of.
Plus, how neighbors are helping each other after the storm.
Good evening and welcome into the news at 6. Hope you are staying safe and warm, and that maybe you have a plan to dig out, because a lot of people still are stuck.
It's going to take us a while, that is for certain, and the temperatures aren't going to help our cause either. Let's get a look at the current conditions right now. Here's First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Goodwin.
Hi, David, Melissa. We did see very heavy snow, and now temperatures tonight to be around -2 in Topeka, staying below freezing for the entire next week. Here's some of the higher snowfall totals. Chapman, St. George, Alta Vista, all coming in with 18 inches of snow. I guess I was so startled by that. I wrote Alta Vista. So I'll fix that. 17 in Valley Falls. Wamego, of course, 17.5. Topeka at 21st and Fairlawn with 17 inches of snow. The airport at Billard Airport had 14 inches, but a lot of huge numbers. Lawrence, 12.5. Junction City, 16. And I'll have a more complete list of that coming up in a few minutes. The area I have shaded in blue in this map, approximately where we saw 10 to 18 inches of snow. Areas outside of that map still saw significant numbers. Emporia with 5.5 inches of snow, one of the lower ones we found. 12 degrees right now in Topeka. The snow is still sticking around. -2 for the overnight low. Tomorrow, a high temperature only in the low 20s. The morning wind chill as cold as -10. Your First Alert 8-day forecast is all coming up.
And now the cold sets in, but at least with the snow stopped, the sun shining, and the winds dying down today, highway conditions are improving across the state. 24 hours ago, we saw this whole corner of northeast Kansas in the red on candrive.gov, meaning all highways were closed. As you can see, most are back open tonight, although we should caution you they are still snow and ice packed. A few trouble spots are still closed, including right here just kind of south of Junction City around Harrington and Council Grove. Also, this stretch of K4 that had been closed earlier today between Topeka and Dover has reopened, as well as that little stretch that got you from I-70 to Maple Hill. But how is it looking right now? What are these efforts like? 13's Victoria Cassell is live tonight with a look at current conditions on the roads and highways.
Melissa, as you can see, the highway behind me looks pretty clear right now. KDOT says most highways have been reopened and most roads should be pretty passable at this time. Now, KDOT says mostly 30 crews all across northeast Kansas have spent the last 24 hours moving most of the bulk of snow and treating it with brine saltwater solution. But crews are waiting for the sun to do most of the work. They did wait for the sun to do most of the work, melting that snow, and then coming back tomorrow and adding more of that solution. Dave Studebaker is KDOT's Topeka area superintendent. He says it is rare to see a closure like this.
Well, we've seen vast improvements from 24 hours ago. We've gotten the bulk off the road. So there's some pinch points, any transition area ramps are a little sketchy. The shoulders are full of snow. So, I mean, you got to stay in the main line. There is ice out there. We've treated the tar out of it, and it's going to melt, but it takes a little bit with the cool temperatures. I've been here going on 22 years, and I've never seen that kind of mass closure. This was new grounds for me, new grounds for most people that are at KDOT.
Bitter cold temperatures remain in the forecast, and of course that will affect how fast the snow will melt. Now, Studebaker does recommend if you don't have to be on the roads, please stay off and stay home. He also recommends, David, that if you do absolutely have to drive, pack a travel emergency kit, keep your distance between cars, and drive slow.
Some good advice tonight. Victoria Cassell live at 6. Thanks. City crews are working their way across Topeka right now to make sure roads are as free of that snow and ice as is possible at this point. 13's Brent Palmer continues our team coverage here. He learned how the Public Works Department is taking on the task of plowing and treating our roads.
This has been, I think, 2011 since I've seen a big snow like this, and it is challenging, but we're going to keep after it until we get it taken care of.
The city's Public Works Department has been hard at work clearing the roads, even during the height of the blizzard.
That's been a big struggle, but everybody is doing their part. We're keep going. We're going to keep running 24 hours a day until the streets are back to normal conditions.
So far, they've been able to plow some important fairways in the city, like Wanamaker.
yeah, we're down to that close to the pavement, but with the temperatures right now, once the sun comes out and we can get some treatment down, we'll start making some good progress to get it back to bare pavement.
Though they've already started, the next task is clearing out neighborhood streets.
It's going to take us 2 to 3 days to get through one pass on all the residentials. Like I mentioned, we started last night with some, and then we'll have some crews out today doing that as well.
Even though the ice and the snow proved to be a task, the Public Works Department seems up to it.
To me, this is the worst that they're going to see probably. You know, most of the time we get a 3 or 4 inch snow, but this is a challenge, and we're up for the challenge, and we're gonna address everything.
In Topeka, Brent Palmer, 13 News.
And of course, we are indeed watching the roads across northeast Kansas for you. For more information on the road and highway conditions, visit candrive.gov. Both Topeka hospitals shifted their schedules a bit today due to the weather. The University of Kansas Health System St. Francis campus closed its urgent care locations for the day. It announced all services are going to be back to normal, though, tomorrow. Stormont Vail closed all of its express care clinics except the Midtown Topeka location, which saw a delayed opening, along with several other primary and specialty care clinics. The hospitals in Topeka and Junction City remained open. And we've also learned tonight the warming center run by Let's Help is closed after today. Let's Help Executive Director Patrick Yancey thanked the Topeka Rescue Mission, True Vine Church, and the volunteers that helped out in his announcement this afternoon. He said, though, they just couldn't get enough volunteers at one time to deliver effective services.
That snow was so bad, a lot of us had trouble getting to work. Yes, we were affected by this as well. Brent Palmer, he was on the news this morning, but he had to walk to work to get here before heading home to grab his car once it was able to get dug out later in the day. And Eric Ives also became stuck this morning until a passerby stopped to help. Tres Hoyas Lawn and Landscaping Company had some of their workers happen upon him, and they got out some shovels and pushed him out of the snow. In the same vein, we heard the story of this driver who'd gotten stuck 3 separate times on the road. The first trap came just after she left home around 6:40 this morning. She got herself out of that, then got stuck on a corner for about 2 hours before some neighbors helped, and then she got stuck again simply trying to head home.
If you have a car or SUV that hangs low and you're on side streets like this, I would stay home. It's not worth it, unless, again, it's not as bad. If you have a truck, it's okay. It's still risky just because of the ice cover that we had, so everything is still slick.
Some of those ladies were doing extra shoveling so that other people wouldn't get stuck. And another reminder to be careful, avoid leaving home if you can. In Pottawatomie County, our neighbors spent the day digging out from the blizzard. 13's Madison Bigley has that part of our team coverage from folks in Wamego about the wintry aftermath.
Heavy snow, gusting wind, and freezing temperatures have put many in northeast Kansas at a complete standstill. Even though the blizzard has passed, the impacts will be affecting residents in the days to come.
I would say 15 to 20 years probably since we've had like this much snow.
The morning after the storm, people in Wamego grabbed their shovels and boots to clear what they could. Pottawatomie County said crews are working to clear county roads, not knowing how long it will take due to the amount of snow and height of drifts. Residents understand it could be a while.
Especially the side streets like our street, they usually don't get to for several days, and so I'm sure with this big of a snow, they're concentrating on the big highways and the bigger streets. So it'll be a while before we get this one cleared off.
But small communities are proven mighty as they come together for one another, lending a helping hand.
We've got good people in the street. So we're all kind of pitching in and just helping neighbors, and we help each other out. And somebody from a business across the street is out here with a skid steer, getting our street cleared off. If you can, stay home. I know people have, jobs where they have to be there, but yeah, if you can, I would just stay in. It's not worth, there's all kinds of people that are sliding off the roads, and you don't put yourself in danger or other people.
County officials encourage people to stay at home so they can continue clearing the streets and make sure to continue paying attention to weather updates. Reporting in Wamego, Madison Bickley, 13 News.
And with the cold and ice, many schools and businesses remain closed tomorrow. That includes Topeka Public Schools and state offices in Shawnee County. You can see the full list on WIBW.com.
Flights are getting back on track now at the Kansas City International Airport tonight after virtually closing on Sunday. Flights in and out there were canceled en masse yesterday, leaving travelers stranded and also hungry, with a lot of the restaurants closed down too. Though only a few delays and outright cancellations could be found there today, some were stuck at the airport for as long as 24 hours.
I've been booked for a flight. I've been canceled for a flight. So, man, every time I get booked for a flight, that's about as solid as like a high school relationship. You know, it's going to end. Like, it's just not going to happen. It went to the point where you almost have no more hope. It's like, but you know what? I have to keep it. I just have to keep it just a little bit, just a little bit.
He wins the award for the best soundbite of the newscast right there. The truth, preach it. You can check the status of flights if you have one at flykc.com.
Some high school sweethearts are still together, so
they are
we
indeed.
love that. We are going to be taking a look ahead at some news from Topeka Police. They're investigating a robbery overnight. We have an update on that.
Also on the way here at 6, Congress has certified the results of the presidential election. We'll be right back with those stories.
Live, local, experienced. This is 13 News at 6, Kansas News Leader. You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
The massive snowstorm did not stop some people from robbing a Topeka Quick Shop last night. The Topeka Police Department says 18-year-old Kenyon Hooper and another 15-year-old boy have been arrested for the crime. TPD says that the pair allegedly robbed the Oakland Quick Shop store about 8 p.m. last night before being picked up by police a couple of hours later. Hooper was booked for attempted aggravated robbery and aggravated assault, while the juvenile was booked for attempted aggravated robbery.
Congress certified President-elect Donald Trump's election win this afternoon without incident. Natalie Brand reports on a day far calmer than the certification on the last presidential vote 4 years ago.
Congress formally certified Donald Trump's 2024 presidential victory Monday.
This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States.
The candidate he defeated, Vice President Kamala Harris, presided over the count, a process steeped in tradition as the electoral ballot boxes made their way through the Capitol to the House floor.
Today, America's democracy stood.
The peaceful proceedings with no objection stand in stark contrast to what happened here 4 years ago when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol to try and stop the certification of Joe Biden's 2020 presidential win.
We cannot let anyone whitewash what happened here 4 years ago.
Nearly 1,600 people have been charged for their roles in the January 6th Capitol attack. Of those, 1,000 have pleaded guilty and 600 were charged with assaulting or resisting police. President-elect Donald Trump has promised to pardon January 6th defendants.
Democrats say that would be a dangerous endorsement of political violence. Republican lawmakers, meanwhile, are promising to advance President-elect Trump's priorities as quickly as possible.
We will be focused on getting President Trump's cabinet up and running quickly by ensuring that his nominees are speedily confirmed.
New CBS News polling shows 4 years later, the January 6th Capitol attack continues to be met with disapproval from a large and bipartisan majority of Americans, though Republicans' disapproval has softened. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
We're going to be having a few frigid days ahead, and you may be getting another day off with those closings continuing into tomorrow.
Yeah, you're seeing those scrolling across the bottom of the screen throughout our newscast. You'll see them throughout the evening as well. Live look right there at the Cyrus Hotel Tower Cam. The streets are kind of clear a little bit downtown, right? Maybe?
We'll see if the Mother Nature's going to melt any of it away anytime soon. Next.
This is First Alert Weather.
All right, here's the scoreboard for this massive snowstorm. Alta Vista, 1.5 feet. St. George Chapman, 18 inches of snow. Wamego was 17.5. I looked back at the records for Wamego. It goes back more than 100 years, and this is the most snow you've ever seen in a single day, unless you go back to the year 1900, so more than a century ago. Was the last time you saw snow like this. Valley Falls, Centralia, Seneca, all 17 inches of snow. Topeka in the middle of town, 21st and Fairlawn had 17 inches of snow, but at the airport it was 14. So the climate summary, if you look back at today, 20, 30 years in the future, the data from Billard Airport is what you'll see. But in the middle of town it was 17 inches. At Billard Airport it was 14. Junction City, Wakefield, Vermilion, all 16 inches of snow. McFarland 14, Clay Center 12, Lawrence 12, Axtell with 12.5, and just kind of give you an idea of where the heaviest snow fell. Emporia had 5.5 inches of snow. Council Grove and Wilsey about 9, but this map just shows areas that are 10 to 18 inches of snow. Look how big of a region saw a 10 to 18 inch category. We've had snowstorms in the past where 1 or 2 locations or a small part of a county really jump up in the numbers, but this is really rare to see that big of an area. I was just looking back to the 2014 snowstorm to see how it compares, and it doesn't have such a widespread area of these big numbers, and I'd say it's probably 2/3 as bad overall, but this really maxed out. So these are some of the numbers on a map. You can see there at Billard Airport, 14 inches of snow. Again, at 17th or 21st and Fairlawn in Topeka, we had about 17. A little farther north, Seneca with 17 inches of snow there. We had about 10.7 in Blue Rapids. Going a little to the west, Concordia with 11 inches of snow. Junction City, 15 to 16 inches of snow across town. Harrington, 15. Getting over to Emporia, about 5.5 just north of town. Close to Reading, about 6. And then getting over to Lawrence, again, many spots there with about 10 to 11 inches of snow. So this is a historic event. It'll take a long time for this to melt, especially with temperatures expect this day in the 20s for the entire next week. So this will take a very long time, not just to melt, but for the road crews clearing this. With temperatures this cold, it is harder to scrape off, and overnight lows will be close to 0. So Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker is dry, calm. There's no chance of any rain or snow the next few days. Temperatures from the single digits and teens right now. Light winds from the northwest, but still any wind at all takes that cold temperature we have, makes the wind chill even worse. Feels like 3 in Topeka, feels like -4 in Concordia. Overnight low in Topeka, -2. A very cold night. Tomorrow's high, about 21 degrees, well below freezing all day, with highs ranging from lower to mid-20s at the warmest. Here's the Weather Room 8-day forecast. Temperatures will stay below freezing for a very long time. There's a chance of snow on Thursday night into Friday. That may be a couple of inches at the most for us. The bulk of that storm should stay in southeast Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, but there's a chance it might impact us, and if it does, we'll let you know.
You know what? When you said that, I just said, what? I think some folks out there probably had the same
We're just going to hold you to the initial prediction that it
just a prediction
be here.
That's right. Well, the Chiefs wrapped up the regular season this weekend.
You'll hear from the team ahead of a week off before they head into the playoffs. Next in 13 Sports.
This is 13 Sports.
Well, perhaps you were watching it right here on WIBW. The regular season has come to a close for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Couldn't go anywhere, right? Sunday's finale against the Broncos wasn't exactly the best snowy day entertainment we've seen from the reigning champs this year. However, the 38-0 shutout loss to the Denver Broncos doesn't mean too much in the grand scheme of things. Since Kansas City already had the #1 seed in the AFC clinched, they rested the majority of their starters and gave some guys deeper on the depth chart some time to shine. Andy Reid enjoyed watching that unfold.
The positive for us was that we got to play a lot of young guys, and that experience is invaluable, especially against a good football team. So we need to do better, obviously, but that opportunity again is something that's special.
The Chiefs now wait to see how the wild card round unfolds. They host the lowest remaining seed in the divisional round at Arrowhead Stadium either Saturday the 18th or Sunday the 19th.
And while the Chiefs have next weekend off, CBS still has a couple of those AFC West playoff games to share with you on Wild Card Weekend. The Los Angeles Chargers and Houston Texans square off Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Then the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills take each other on Sunday at 1 p.m. Both those games will air right here on WIBW.
My mom called and was like, what's going on with the Chiefs? And then we shared our disappointment over the end of the Packers-Bears game yesterday.
Well, they had a captive audience. The captive audience, a lot of folks here at home stuck inside watching yesterday, whether you like the outcome or not. We'll have more after this.
This is First Alert Weather.
All right, looking at the 8-day forecast, we are expecting to see a cold night, a low temperature 2 degrees below zero. It'll be very cold tomorrow with the high of just 21, so all that snow that's out there is going to take a very long time to get rid of. When it stays this cold, it's easier to clear when it's warmer, and this will not help. Some snow possible on Thursday night and Friday. Shouldn't be a major thing.
Not bad, but stay bundled up out there in the cold. Check on your friends and neighbors as well.
And we'll have more snow coverage and about the storm and all the details coming up on our news at 10. You're going home. I hope Doug has a warm car out there for you to get into.
We're going to see how some kids in Silver Lake were helping their neighbors. It's a great story tonight at 10. Stay tuned. Wheel of Fortune is next.
Get the latest news, weather, and sports at WIBW.com or follow WIBW on X, Facebook, and our mobile app. Thank you for making 13 News the most watched evening newscast.